Welcome back, everybody, to session 8 of Shapes in the Dark here. Let me adjust my camera quickly. There we go. Quit arguing with me. All right. So, last week, our group of rogues were, they were helping themselves to Fernalaeus's father's armory. Quite literally, shopping shopping with Daddy's Black Platinum Amex card, and now there's an abundance of ebon in the party, and I hope you guys have your statistics updated for that. And savor these sessions, gentlemen, because very few and far between, and Mike can actually confirm for us that we don't really get a whole lot of opportunity to have a full ebb and loadout. So back in the armory, just moments after last session, soliloquies have ended, the stage lights come up. What do we see of our characters? Tane Halfmain, take it away from me, brother.
Fern, I don't think that it's worn that way. I think you need here. You're putting it on wrong.
You mean I have to? This strap doesn't go here. Yeah, it does feel a little odd.
Yeah.
So
Amherst, give me a hand here. I don't think he's. I thought you said you trained in armor.
this is different from what I'm used to seeing. The straps are configured differently. There's these things. They're in a coat.
So that's all right. Just yeah, put it on you. We'll see if it fits you in the long run.
Okay. Now, Fern is fiddling with an ebon breastplate with the inlay of that yellow color that is his father's colors that he, pretty much all of his stuff seems to have on it. Next to him, of course, is the regular round shield of ebon as well, and he has a broadsword off to one side, but he still around his waist has that odd curved sword, that falchion that he's always wore, but on its worn belt and worn scabbard. He's as he fiddles with his armor and gets it somewhat comfortable and figures it out, because anatomy only goes a certain way. He looks over and says, Amherst, you have any problems over there with your arm giving you any issue with that? I saw what happened with the bow.
Still aching.
Yeah. Amherst would be kind of favoring that arm a little bit. He would have just been getting done kind of looking over the rest of the array that was the candy shop, so to speak. When Tane asked for his assistant, he kind of gave a chuckle and walk over to help him out. And when Fern asked how he's doing, he kind of shoulder rolled both of them, wipe his hands along all the daggers he had. Sure, he's like, no, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I feel like I could make an assassin blush right now, but it feels pretty good.
Good. So, glad it's feeling better. He has a bit of a relief look on his face as Amherst helps him get the straps sorted out, and he gets the breastplate buckled on properly and starts to put on the battle skirt, and just to get a feel of the way it drapes, and the way the weight distributes itself as he moves about, and stomps his feet a few times. And he says, I think this will do. He looks over to see what Tane's putting together with his horsehair, his horsehair shirt he had been wearing the entire time that he seems to have taken off.
Yeah, Tane has similarly put on one of the golden tunics, but has since adorned it with horsehair accoutrement, It's kind of under the shoulders and sort of adds to, it looks a little bulky, and it probably would be, but Tane is used to wearing a lot of layers, so he's kind of used to it. He kind of situates it under this breastplate, and the kind of tests the flow of the skirt underneath it, the battle skirt, and he reaches over and takes the helmet and slides it down over his head, and you can see in the oculars the dark that's typically around his eyes just gives him this riveting look of one might think Batman looking through the oculars there.
But with
And
amazingly puckered Michael Keaton lips. No, maybe? No, sorry.
No. Not this Batman.
I mean, at least the nipples aren't showing. I mean, that's good.
Oh, come on. Val Kilmer Batman? Yeah, there you go.
They better be built into that breastplate.
They are now.
They are, actually. I've got little hoops coming off of it. I'm imagining that because of the time period and the type of dress, it's probably like one of the Roman cuirasses, the articulated, or maybe the the six-pack on the front,
the musculatata, the abs, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's probably got these shoulder strap things, the rectangulars that bend over the shoulders a little bit, but which is kind of nice because it allows you to also hang a cape if you wanted to. If I were so pretentious. I'm not a bard, though, so he does help Amorous situate the golden cape across his back if he'd like it.
Yeah, Fernleus is going to eschew the shoulder armor and actually put his cloak on over it. It's actually his robe, basically, so his arms are out. So it somewhat conceals the armor. It makes him, you have the feeling from his friends that he feels uncomfortable out of his robe. It's as if maybe the robe itself has conveyed some status in his own mind about it.
So after taking a fair bit of time to go over your new stock here, you were granted a visitation previously by the Lord of the Underworld, as it were. And you were given instruction to steer clear of Miserine at this time, given a warning: if you were to go there now, all of you will die. Should you wish to go there anyway, is at your own peril, but one would think if the Lord of the Dead says you will die if you go here at this time, well, he would know. What is your plan of attack? I suppose for the road ahead.
Fernleus, as he remembers that encounter, he once again flexes that right hand, which still feels a bit numb, almost as if it was dipped into a frigid winter pond. He just hasn't got the heat back into it. And he goes over to one of the tables and takes that map out that he had and lays it out. He's put a few marks himself on there because he doesn't speak this language here. And he says, "Gentlemen, come around and let's figure out where we're going to next. How are we going to get to this place? How are we going to make our way out?" He takes a few pieces of equipment, like a helmet on one corner, a pile of nails on the other, just to make sure it stays nice and flat. And he says, "So we're here." He puts his finger down with next to the mark where he had indicated where we currently are at his father's home. He said, "Miserine is here, and just beyond that is that castle on the hill." And he's I think he's at this point he's sort of just sort of mentally looking at this map, trying to figure out about the symbology and stuff like that. Just a basic war test real quick. He has a 12 in his war test. So I think on this side of this mountain might be the swamp they were talking about, or the bog. What do you guys think?
The bog is between you guys and the castle.
Okay. So, but he's pointing in this area, and what do you guys think? Am I right?
It seems logical. Is this road still passable? He's kind of eyeing this this dotted path. I wonder.
Only way to know is either ask someone or go ourselves. But are there any like smaller villages or towns along that route there?
Not in this fiefdom, no.
Okay. Okay, so we'll definitely make sure we have to have enough food to last us for. He sits there and sort of moves his hand on a thing. At least what, 10 days, 12 days, maybe. Maybe as long as a full chain.
Full chain would be 10 days for you guys.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? About a chain's worth of food? Maybe some fodder for the horses as well. I mean, he looks over at Tane about that.
Oh yes, they'll need to eat at least as much.
Well,
as we're
looking
eating.
at the map, does it look like it's going to be barren land, or is it something that we can still kind of live off of, since we're all kind of survivalists in this group?
It's going to be mostly rolling hills with a few scattered groves here and there. It's not dense wilderness, but it's going to be rocky and rugged. You're basically going through a moor.
So probably a chain worth, food for the horses, and if need be, I say we probably search early while the terrain is good for extra supplies, just in case shit does go sideways.
Also, could take into consideration you have 5 days left of provisions in the cart currently.
Okay. He said, "Okay, I'll gather some more dried beans, some Tahini potatoes, carrots, things like that, and things that will travel well, and then we can get our meat along the way via." Well, he looks over at he's about to say via hunting. He looks over at Thorn and he thinks for a moment. He says, "Can you still hunt? I know you're good with the knives."
Is there a target in the room as we speak?
Yeah, downrange. It's about 45 feet away.
All right. He's actually going to look at that and give me a second to.
Put a dagger downrange. Do it. That's at long range, so you'll have a -1 for a dagger. That's going to be a hell of an arm that you're going to need.
That's 22 after the negative.
Wow. Yeah. No. That's yeah. Oh no, you didn't hit it at all. Absolutely, it's just right.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's right in the center. It's what it is. Still doesn't count.
I half exploded on that one. So.
Did
but
you?
No, as Fern says that, Thorn will look and he'll track down the target, and you'll see him just basically grab from like right at along his left side. You'll see him grab it, and just in that fluid motion when he like killed the bandits, he'll just fling it bullseye and be like, "I think I can make do."
Okay. He nods and says, "We'll definitely have meat then."
Makes a nice thud.
There's like a scrap of parchment or paper he can get his hands on, and a quill. Of course, he has his quill, but
not here.
Not here. Okay, I didn't know if they. Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, he in that case, he basically goes and pulls out his journal, and the very back flips it open and starts making a list of what he thinks he's going to need, just to make sure that he can go into the kitchens and make sure and requisition these provisions. So, and I think, gentlemen, we probably need to be out of here as soon as we can. I don't think we should spend the night. What do you think?
I'd have to agree with you.
They would expect us to spend the night, but then again, these I don't trust those women. I just have this vision in my mind of me trying to sleep and then stealing them their way into my bedroom at night and draining me dry. So
Your bodily, well, either way. Anyway.
Other way, I don't think it'll be too pleasant. So, but either way, I would feel more comfortable sleeping upon the moor than I would be in here. He sort of sighs at that. You can tell that it's almost a regret that he can't spend the night under his father's roof for the first time ever. But he goes and gathers a few things up, makes a little bag, grabs some, in case we'll need them later. I'm sure there's like spare straps and things like that in there.
Oh, it's a small outfitters guild
Okay.
is what you're standing in.
Okay. So he grabs a few things and throws them into a bag and, makes sure that there's spare rivets, spare straps, buckles, all the things we'd probably need in case our armor needs to be repaired later on.
Should we grab wood for the first night or two in case we can't find a ready supply for making fires?
Might be a good idea, but do we really want to light a fire this close?
Depending on how far we travel, though, too.
Do you know that secret way that your people do for the hidden fires?
That's a good question, DM. Do I know the hidden way of making secret fires?
I'm actually gonna put the DM veto on this. Fernaleus would not know that to ask that.
Oh, sorry. So it's a secret. Gotcha.
Yeah, no.
It's a secret.
So no, I'm not
Okay.
giving you the
That's
Apache
fine.
stealth
I will-
fire for this.
I won't be asking. Retcon backwards.
Yep.
So do you know any way of concealing a flame? No. Okay.
There you go.
I mean, we could always just make them as small as possible. I mean, there's ways to do that just in general.
We can try.
Dig a hole, make a small one.
I think I would be able to assist with that, considering that I am acquainted with the nature of the sun these days.
Okay.
So I think that I could share the warmth through the power of Agiun.
Okay.
Would you agree, Overseer? If I cast a ritual, I could just heat the area
You might be able to, yeah. You might.
no
So
light, just the heat.
We'll just huddle around the tane
Yep.
and tell stories.
Wow.
So yes.
You must pay
Yeah,
the toll.
But still, it might not be a bad idea. At least grab a bit of wood just in case. And
But we do need to traverse a bog, right?
Yep.
That we will. Yes.
That is one of the requirements, or not requirements, is kind of the you can't get to the catacombs where you were told to go unless you go through it. It's somewhere in the swamp.
Well, then the question is where we leave our mounts.
Yes. Will your horse be able to make it to the bog?
Well, our horses would be able to traverse certain areas, but we would have to lead them through so they don't break a leg, which is dirty work to begin with. But it's possible. I don't think that's a good idea, though, of us walking through the muck. Maybe well, then we would need a longboat long enough to carry all of us, and then we'd have to take it there.
Yeah. And I think that might be a bit suspicious if we happen to go out of the keep hauling a longboat behind us. It's possible. He says there's. I don't see any settlements around there, but we might be able to find someone on the edge of the bog, or I don't know, build a raft or something. I've heard tales of that. So he goes over a piece of the wood cutting axe that was mentioned. He says this could be useful.
That could take some time, though.
True. Yeah. I'm not sure what else we do though.
How long would it take to build a raft?
Do a lore check, see if I even know. Oh no. That's a 9. I have no clue.
Does anyone have any grades in, say, woodworker? No?
I think Ambrose knew how to work with wood.
Different kind of wood.
You're right.
Not
Well,
that way.
Well,
there is that, but
I
don't judge. I'm just saying that
I do happen to have a grade in seafaring.
no.
I don't.
No.
No, I had provisioning and outfitter, but no actual craft skill.
Oh, what?
I know,
Mike
one of my
doesn't
only
have
characters
a
without a
crafting
craft
skill.
skill.
Ah,
Because he went bard, not crafter.
kill yourself.
You need to fix that next level.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh my
Well,
god.
okay, question then. When we were at the library, did they have any do-it-yourself books? Can I go find a book on how to make a raft?
It's some YouTube site.
Hey, we're going
Yes.
to be in horses anyway. I can just
Yes.
read while we travel. I don't care.
Yes, there was. There was a book on carpentry in the library. There you go.
Close enough. Close enough. Okay, before we leave, I got to go pick up that book.
All right.
You gotta read it on the trip.
Well, he's
Yep.
gonna. I mean, unless he's doing everything one-handed, he's technically going to be useless to you. So, not for nothing, building a raft once you get there gives him ample enough time to heal, so he gets both his arms back.
Wait, he planted that
I can
knife.
play
I don't think he's
manager, it's
useless.
okay.
Well, he's not useless.
No.
So,
I mean, I can always play manager, but like, hey, this is what we got to do.
Do
You're
it.
done.
all right. So,
I mean, I can swing the hammer. Someone holds a nail there. I tried to hit you in the hand.
no, that's
Yes.
a good idea. He'll actually
Awesome.
go over the sack and grab a sack full of nails too. So, if we're going to build a raft, we might need nails.
Yep.
So,
There you go.
Might as well grab a hammer while
and a
we're at
hammer
it.
too. You got to throw a hammer.
You guys have a hammer.
Oh, that's right, we do. But
Well,
it's nice to have one.
the party quartermaster should have the supplies pulled up so he'd know everything that you guys have.
I've got all kinds of stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's getting.
We do
all
we do
kinds
have
of
having
a,
his
shit.
pay. He's not keeping
But
up on that shit.
that's why I said gathering nails, because we had woodworkers tools minus nails, but they're copper.
Yeah,
So
copper.
replacing them with ebon is a upgrade.
Yes, exactly.
So,
just put the copper in its place. Say, sorry, we'll replace it later.
no, we already had it. We already had an ebon
Hammer.
anvil, so
Well, yeah, you had the ebon handle,
Handle.
a little
Yes.
portable one.
yes.
Which I mean, depending on, I mean, in a pinch, you could probably use that thing as a damn weapon.
Yeah, if we needed to. So,
Mm.
but yeah, as I said, we have that we have the basic stuff for that. So
Moving
Pain and fern, just chuck it over something and it crashes on someone's head.
yeah, basically drop it
Put
on.
Acme on the side.
nice,
We'll need an ebon chisel for that. Have an ebon chisel.
right?
No,
Moving
no,
forward now.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, okay.
But yeah, so the small supplies we need, food, rations,
Ebon. Yes.
axe, nails. Do they have anything for strings and whatnot for the loot?
They do not.
They do not.
They do not. Technically,
Question.
you have your own hair.
True.
Fey hair is used for bowstrings sometimes, so why
It
not
is.
lute strings?
That is true.
Well, I imagine that's what my lute's probably strung with now then.
Probably.
But how, in the hierarchy of materials, how high up is Fey hair?
It's pretty damn expensive.
Okay.
If-
So, like,
if- I
chances
mean,
of breaking and whatnot are relatively low?
That depends on if you're trying to play The Devil Went Down to Georgia or not.
I mean, he can right now, but maybe back in his prime.
Well,
Could you refashion bowstrings into lute strings?
oh my, why? Oh, why would you want to?
Just thought we have bowstrings.
Yeah.
Bertleus is not a musical person. He doesn't know.
Okay. I would think that would take some doing, but it'd sound like shit.
What about horsehair?
Well, I mean, horsehair has been used, at least in fiddles, for hundreds
Yes.
of years.
Yeah, for the
So,
bows.
yeah.
Could
But
probably help with that and over
not for-
time.
not for nothing would you offer your horse's hair up for
Mhm.
lute strings. The sacred beast who is the object of your worship, really.
We have a
Well,
draft horse,
actually,
too.
I could argue that I am wearing implements of my beast
True.
in the form of the horsehair tunic and so on. So I
Those are
believe
your
that,
vestments.
true, but it's
Equally
not
as
uncommon.
sacred.
Well,
Okay.
we could get ourselves a pair of shears, and we do have a draft horse.
I would. All right. I'll go so far as to say I don't
Saying.
think Tane, in his faith, would feel comfortable with that.
Not on a large scale. I might bless him with a string of, as a gift, and thus, yeah. Its
Just the
history
C chord,
is
is it?
Aegean allows gifting, but only in small quantities, and it needs to be treasured as such. So, when the time comes. But thinking about bogs and so on, does the map possibly have if we can decipher a hard surface guide through it?
Path, maybe.
No, it is an uncharted
Son of a
bog.
bitch.
Here be a bog.
Well,
Done.
if there is I would think and this is Fernley speaking out loud. I would think if there is a catacomb somewhere beyond this bog, that someone had put the entrance there for a purpose, and probably made a way to get there. We'll just have to go find it when we get there. There may
Right.
be, there may not be.
Unless there's just a way around it, which might take longer, but
Very well may. So, but either way, I think we need to gather our things and get ourselves on the road. So
I think we go preparing for the worst and we hope for the best. If we
yes,
find a way around it where we don't need to make a raft, so be it. If we need to, we at least have the materials to do so.
it's true. So Fern's going to lift up the bag of nails and the kit of equipment he's got and take it down out to the stables to where his cart is, and he's going to start loading that in the back. They did say that they had gotten them some food provisions earlier and placed in the cart. The serving girl had, so he's going to check that and see what they gave, what they brought.
Just hardtack.
Okay, that's fine. Hardtack along with what you've already got. He'll dip by the kitchens and see if they have any like carrots or turnips or anything like that stored up. He can grab a sack of it, throw in there with it. So cabbages maybe. So
jerk beef.
yeah, I mean, yeah, dried beef.
Or jerked horse.
That's also a possibility.
No. Sorry, no,
I
excuse
wouldn't eat it,
me.
but it has been done before.
Of course. But no, you're pretty confident that you could requisition some provisions, and they'll probably give you just about anything that you need from the kitchens there. The vampires need to eat as well as the mortals need to eat, but some of the vampires, obviously, they need blood with the sustenance, obviously. But anyway,
Well, Fern's also going to see if he can get a jug of blood,
okay.
just to make sure he has a good stock.
They can bring that out to you in a cask.
Okay.
So how many weeks are you actually planning on being gone?
Let's say 2 chains.
2 chains, 20 days.
Mm-hmm.
All right, write that down on your inventory, your party inventory.
Well, and it makes me wonder that Tenelok, he was familiar with the bog, at least to the extent of, but we didn't ever explore if he's familiar with it.
Right.
So I wonder, I mean, we walk around any corner, we're going to catch him trying to get his scrog on. So we could probably just go run into him and interrupt him again and ask him about the bog.
That will be up to you. I did give my word that I would not do that. So,
well,
I could not be involved.
If we happen upon him, I mean, whose fault is that but his? He's got to pick a more secure location.
I'm pretty sure he's going to beat us one of these times we interrupt him.
One of these times. But we have a bard, so you can calm him down.
Give him pointers. So yeah, Fernandez is going to go back into once he knows everything is prepared. He's going to head up into the keep.
Okay. What are you looking for?
He's going to look around to see if he can find one of the ladies.
You find several of the ladies.
Oh.
Fortunately, luck be upon you, Lady Luck. She is here. I actually rolled 2 7s on that. Fantastic. Nice. Luck indeed. You find the lovely Mina there. Okay. And she just kind of rolls her eyes at the 3 of you.
Hello,
but
Mina.
She addresses you with the respect that Fernandez deserves, at least in this house.
He'll recognize Mina. If you would, could you please take a message for the my father's guests? Let them know that myself and my companions are going to be going on a tour of the lands. We're going to look at the outer areas, the different villages and stuff like that, and familiarize ourselves with the lay of the place before I return. And hopefully when I do, my father will be here and we'll have a great laugh.
Oh, actually, you know what? Interesting. Mina kind of gives you a curt, curtsy there and says to you, and she pauses. Yeah, I will let the mistresses know.
Thank you. So, and he'll go and fetch a couple of changes of clothing, and then we'll be heading down. He'll be heading after that to. Of course, the entire time he's looking around, just to see if he sees Tenelok hiding around a corner somewhere.
He is. He's standing in the doorway to one of the studies. His back is to you, but you can tell that he's smoking. He's like watching something going on in the next room.
Oh, okay. I'll go up and very sort of gently tap him on the shoulder.
It looks over his shoulder. Gold looks good on you.
Oh, thank you. Just let you know we're going to be touring the other areas of the province. Me and my two companions. We plan on leaving tonight.
Do you believe that is safe right now?
Well, safe is relative. Am I safe here?
Of course you're safe here.
Of course.
You're Rydian's only bastard that we know of in his house. If anything were to befall you here in his house, well,
Yes.
if I know him the way I know him, and which is more than you know your own flesh and blood,
Very true.
he might burn down half
don't
of
hold back.
Misery. Depending on how it was portrayed to him, of course, and who
They
did
only have?
be. I don't know.
Fernandez gets a bit of a wry look on his face, and a little bit of a smile comes to his mouth and says, "So, if you were to tell him that some of Misery had slain his bastard, that would be just a bit of fun, wouldn't it?"
That
I
would
like
be
where we're
fun.
going with this.
And he kind of looks at you out of the corner of his eye like, yeah, you're learning, kid.
Considering
Yeah.
all the water under the bridge, I wouldn't be hurt if that happened.
Same.
No, if we could only hope that Farad is somewhere within the fire and that we never hear or see from him again.
Well, in that case, just if that is your pleasure to do a joke of that level, we'll be one to stand in your way for that. But if you wish to tell my father that maybe I'm out hunting for Farad, which we sort of are.
If I was to say that to him, you're telling me it would not be a lie. And he winks at you.
It will not be a lie.
No.
My eyes will be
hunting for
peeled.
him too.
Oh, by the way, I have a question for you.
Oh,
Just out of
Actually,
curiosity.
puts out his pipe with his thumb, puts it away.
Yeah.
He turns to you.
Fernandez pulls out his little journal and opens it up. He says, "You were taught." As you know, I'm a scholar. I want to know as much as I possibly can about this stuff. You mentioned a bog earlier.
Yeah.
Have you ever been there?
Well, part of it.
Hmm.
I've had to dispose of a ragman here or two.
So you put them in the bog.
Well, sometimes.
Okay, right. Oh, right now, that ragmen placed in bog, blah blah. So there could be ragmen all over that bog. That would not be a very.
Maybe. I have not been back that way in some time.
That would not be a safe place to go then.
No.
I sat down. Bog is dangerous. So he's actually writing this stuff out so Farad can actually see him writing this stuff.
Who?
No, sorry, Farad. Sorry, Titalock can see
Oh,
him writing
he's there.
stuff.
He's there. Roll initiative, you bastard. I'm kidding. He's not there. He's not there.
Damn it, I lost my die.
Wait,
Get him!
so we're not safe after all.
There would be no initiative.
I spent a
Tedlock
fate
would
point to
see Farad
win.
and he would be slain.
I spent a fate point to win.
Ooh.
I will burn all my fate points to win.
No,
So,
come on. It doesn't work that way.
So, but yeah, so he
Anyway.
basically takes notes. He says, so if in our, as you know, we have this map. I'm not sure how full. He sort of packs his piece of pouch.
We'll
I'm not
just take
sure
it with
how-
you.
I am. We are.
Oh, good.
But just in case we get lost, is there any place there that will be safe? Say if we wind up, I don't know, following Farad there. Have we want having to go that far? Just it's not going to be a very interesting place to tie someone up and toss them into sleep for a few centuries.
Oh, like you have done, right?
Well, all right. And now, when you dispose of vampires and ragmen by staking them out so the sun can get them, you don't
Well,
put
yes,
them
but
in the
if
bog to mummify
but
them.
if you-
That just
but
makes
if
it
you-
worse.
but if you
don't
put
need
them in
to
the
ask
bog,
questions. It's
to
just
where only their faces exposed to the sun, would that be an interesting thing? Because I would assume that wouldn't actually kill them; it would just destroy their face.
No, it would just it would be you'd. He's kind of like he it kind of like dawns on him like I hadn't thought that yet.
Uh,
I'm gonna do that now next time.
okay, just want to make sure that if Farad knew what was going on when he died. So,
If you can find him,
well, we'll ask about.
if he's around, he's in Miserine, and
Yeah.
as well as Ridian is also in Miserine.
I don't think I'll be going to Miserine at this time. Just
Yeah,
something tells me that's not a place for me to be right now.
it is. It is for you. It is not safe right now.
Well, question then: do you know anyone who can path the bog?
Beside myself,
You could traverse it.
I have my ways.
Want to go on a trip?
I was just thinking that, Tane.
I would love to.
We can ask Mina along too.
Let me. I'll make sure we get the food for you. Hold on.
She's
Prepare yourself. And so we'll be ready to leave in what, 30 minutes?
Within the hour.
he looks at you.
He's not coming with, guys.
Did someone break wind?
I am bound here. Adra will not relieve me.
I hear what you're saying, but
You're in a bodyguard mission.
Ridian.
You have to protect the son of Ridian.
Ridian would be very upset if his son perished in a bog, and Tenelok allowed his son to go.
Swim.
I
can't
cannot
really
order
swim.
the scion of this house around to do anything.
Well-
I can simply advise and say this is not safe.
He's,
If
he's
you,
right.
if
You
you
know.
had the
Wise.
opportunity to save him, you could do
Well-
that by guiding said scion.
Would you like me to
Persuasion?
give you go for yeah, you know what? Yeah, yes. Roll for persuasion. Yes. Do it.
I'm trying.
Trying to be very flowery.
I will laugh if this pops up double eight. I'm just saying.
Oh, do it.
Persuasion's a skill, but it's based off of
Spirit.
Yeah, 12's not going to do it.
No, well, no.
Unless Amorous is going to...
No. Not right. No, that's just that.
I mean, Amish is almost always doing background mood music, so I mean, it could.
No, just no. Tenelok, he what he does do is he takes out a stick of charcoal from one of like his back pockets. He says, hand me your map. I give you what I can.
First, that
I
plays the
can't
map
with
out.
you.
He'll go right to the little table there and lay it out for him.
He quite literally defaces this map with his own marks.
I've got my marks all over it too.
It was a nice, well organized map. Now it's absolutely a mess.
There's notes and stuff all over it.
And he draws a couple trees. He draws a couple rocks. These are landmarks. This is the driest way through. But there will be rivers. There will be ponds. You will have to deal with this.
It's like to forge some stuff. Okay. All right, well, thank you very much, Tenlock. You're a great manservant. Very. I will not forget this. So.
Well, he just kind of lets that well hang in the air.
Okay.
You kind of read it in his eyes, like, I don't know me very well, do you? But he decided not to say anything.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, Fern just has this. He has this smile on his face. He's had the entire time, and he puts his hand on his shoulder and says, "I do wish you were coming, but I understand you have duties."
Another time.
Definitely.
I'll come with you another time.
Definitely. The next
We don't need
adventure.
another time.
Well,
Nah,
we can only hope.
there will always be other times.
At some point, we'd be... I'd be pleased to learn of the tales of Tenelok. I'm sure you have stories of great heroic acts. Amorous might even write a song about it.
If not on the battlefield, at least in the bedroom.
Yeah,
Well,
There's that. Now I am totally appealing to it, but it's hard not to when you're a warrior when somebody talks to you about writing a song about you.
He just smiles, his trademark fanged smile, and just waves his hand a bit, maybe a little bit embarrassed, maybe a little bit. He's Tenelok, you've come to know, he's kind of a quiet guy that doesn't really let a lot of information out unless he's directly asked. You can tell that possibly in life he was a soldier, and he's probably institutionalized to only give information out, be direct. But there will be time for that if you come back in one piece.
We hope we do. So, as long as there's nothing unexpected at the bog. So,
Well,
and as he says that, he very pointedly looks at Tenelok's sword and gives him a wink. So,
not per se in the bog, but in the catacombs beneath the castle, you might find something of the nightmare. Be aware. You are aware of whom resides within those walls.
I have an idea.
And just keep in mind that there are things that reside beneath his home that, depending on whom you speak with, could be worse. But I will not spoil the surprises for you, as the three of you are obviously men of action.
Oh, of course. And a tale it will make, and a song it will be sung, I'm sure.
Well,
We'll tell you all about when we return.
Good. I want to hear it.
And Fernlius gives him grabs his forearm, gives him a shake, and says, "See you soon." And he turns and starts heading out.
Careful with that rutting.
He smirks. And you hear him mutter under your breath. He goes, "Some days I wish I wasn't a vampire." And he just goes back and lights his pipe again, and then goes back to watching the servants in the other room. What it looks to be like they're putting together a table for a meeting, a feast of some kind. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
So I would imagine that we've gathered the food. We've
Oh yeah. While this talk has been going on, the servants have delivered everything to your cart, and your mounts have been brought up as well.
So that will mount up and tally ho, gentlemen.
Out on the highway, out on the Loping Plains, the weather kind of turns for the worse on this day, and it doesn't become stormy, but it mists for most of what would pass for the evening. But as soon as you mean to go and rest, what would be considered the evening on the first day, you've traveled through the daylight hours, or the dying light of the day, and the first day passes relatively uneventfully, save for the shit weather and the terrible road.
Firmly whistling a jaunty tune with the weather because it reminds him of home.
Yeah, that there is definitely a sense of solace in that rain. That's more or less comforting. I mean, a dismal way, but comforting. The first chain of your journey is I can only stress to you so much how damn boring it is. In this section of Rydian's fiefdom is all but uninhabited. They're not even bandits. There is I mean, there's wildlife. There's a few deer here and there. You actually saw a cave bear kind of amble from one wooded area to another. The bear took a few moments to regard your troop, but left you well enough alone. A few more weeks, and you'll be getting to the end of your supplies when you get to a crossroads. You can either go straight on. This is the edge of Rydian's fiefdom here. Either you pass on to Mizarine, or you can go into the lower boglands.
I think, gentlemen, this is where we need to go to the bogs, because we were told if we go that way and he points toward Vizarine, that way leads to certain death.
So now we need to take it slowly and carefully and follow the guided path that Tin has provided for us.
That we do. And so how successful was Emrys on his gathering along the way? So.
Oh, yeah, here. Give me a second. I did not see that. Thank you for saying something. Some stealth gathering. You snuck it by the narrator. God. Yeah.
Ninja Wild Lord.
Right, Ninja Wild Lord. Someone turned into a Dunedain there for a moment. Yeah, you can get a good week's worth of wild edibles for one person. That'll supplement your dailies.
So what's that? The group for 3 days, basically.
Yes.
If it's one person for a chain.
Yep.
3 days for 3 people.
Mm-hmm. One chain's
Plus
10.
a little extra for the horse.
I'm assuming that Tane is letting the horses off in stages to graze along the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would imagine that he is taking the time to show his companions proper horsemanship until they got tired of it, and he just continued because extra long lessons because Tane truly enjoys what he's doing. Oh, double eights.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
On horsemanship. So that's like the horses look like prize right now. We could sell them at auction if we were going to at high dollar. So 816.
What are you rolling again for?
It's a total of a 33 because I got double eights. They explode. So
You don't need to keep rolling if you've already crit.
Oh.
Dave.
okay.
I mean, you
Double
can
eights
if you really want
Double eights is an
to.
I
automatic
did.
win.
So I did. So
Yeah,
Double
no,
eights is an automatic win.
you're good. You're good. But yeah, no. Despite the terrible terrain and weather, the horses look ship-shape.
I would also, to interject, I would also like to alternate probably a ritual, since I can just do a ritual on the horses one night and then endurance on us, and then sunlight as needed if it's too cold.
That's a lot of spell points.
Well, you said they regen every day, right?
Mm.
So I mean, I'm just saying, then like
That's going to be very taxing on you mentally, is what I'm trying to get at here. If you want to be doing that, then that's fine. I mean, by the end of this, you'll have at least a grade of exhaustion there.
oh, I was meaning maybe once a day I would be doing, but anyway, alternating. Okay. As needed. I mean, if the horses need it, I would give them a ritual to boost them, but they did pretty well otherwise. So mostly it was used for the sunlight to keep us warm and endurance if especially because Amorous is needing healing energy. So,
Okay.
I would suggest focusing your energy and endurance on him, because once we're a couple of days away from the keep, you don't have to worry about necessarily the warmth. We can actually build a fire, because the place does seem to be pretty much open and desolate. So, we could use regular fire for that.
well, for that matter, then I could technically just focus an endurance every day on Amorous, and it might expedite his healing.
Yeah, worth a try.
What do you think? Rafe?
His arm is going to be healing over the next 6 weeks. Well, actually 3 more weeks now. I mean, your
Would it go
magic
faster?
no, your
if
magic
I-
there's no healing magic in this setting. So
Okay.
you're not going to be able to do that now.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you guys descend into this lowland here, and you can tell there is the stink of the darkness here. I'm not going to make you roll for it. It's potent, and there is a pall here. You first feel it from the horses, as they both sense it long before you two, or actually the 3 of you do. Not enough to affect them in a negative way, but they obviously become nervous and skittish, and they take some coaxing to actually go, no, this is actually where we're going. Come on now, let's behave. And they'll, all right, as vaguely well-trained and well-intelligent horses would give, I suppose, a little bit of that attitude. You descend into what looks to be somewhat of a grove of standing stones.
That I will do an occult insight roll on as I see it. Oh, no crap. Oh, that's a 10. Hold on. I can't roll D10s. Oh, still no crap. That's for cult insight. That's going to be, I don't know, maybe 13.
Nope. Nope.
There's a 1 and a 3. So.
Yeah, no, you've got nothing. But well, damn, I was hoping you'd actually roll higher. Can't really tell you other than actually giving away the purpose of this. It is a grove of standing stones that vary from about hip height to twice the size of a man. They're sometimes carved with faces, bearded faces, clean-shaven faces, men and women's faces. Some of them do not have faces at all and just have a brace of runes over a surface. And there is... Mike, what are you rolling for?
Me and Tane did occult insights as well. He got 23, I got 21.
Okay. You two would recognize this place as actually a cemetery. Very ancient cemetery. You're not familiar with the culture that uses megalithic grave markers, but it's a cemetery.
That might imply that they were a very large race.
You do notice that quite a few of the grave markers that has a visage on it, they have a third eye in the center of their head, center of their forehead.
You said that there was some that had runes.
Yeah.
We'll take a look at those. Do an academic out there. I might get it. Yeah, 23 on that.
They are in the old alphabet. None of you can read the old alphabet.
Okay. So I'll say that it's old alphabet. It's definitely ancient. Know that much.
You can smell the bog getting closer before you actually see it. There is kind of a low-hanging fog, maybe around about knee to hip high here. You see a crow actually pecking at a corpse being hung on what looks to be like a not a trident, but a cross-shaped spear, not a pike, but an actual a spear, a very stylized spear. The corpse has been there for quite some time, though. It's pretty advanced stages of decay here, enough to where a crow would still find food here, but it's clearly not their first choice.
Wonderful, Fernlea says. So it seems that our friend is not the only person who brings people here to be executed. So with that, Fern's going to loosen his blade, his falchion. So just in case he needs to draw it quickly, keep a little closer eye out, as we're moving along.
Tane is going to begin unrolling some rope, and he ties it around his belt and then loops it through his saddle and then starts leading it back along to Amorous and Fern and their mounts. Considering the circumstances, if one of us falls, at least we can help pull ourselves out. Like a big long chain.
Right. The ground here is actually pretty firm. You're actually not in the swamp yet. You can smell it now before you actually see it. But descending into this lowland here, you do come upon like the edge of what would constitute kind of a river, kind of that it's not quite a mangrove because there's no salt water here, but it's like a flooded, temperate forest. One of the stones nearby is what looks to be had a male's face. The face had a rather prominent beard on it, but in this stone in particular is kind of looks like it had been cut or slashed open, and the top 2/3 of this stone is half sinking into the bog there. And when the three of you actually pass, there is a slight shimmer along the runes, or excuse me, amongst the runes of this sculpture, really.
Fulton sound. Oh, that's 3 8s I rolled.
All right.
Oh my.
Yeah, so that's let's see. That's going to be a 46 total.
Wow.
Sorry, 45 total.
45.
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you in this? I'm assuming that Tane has been in the saddle most of the time, and you guys have been in the cart.
Yeah, I've been primarily in the cart, sort of not driving, but sort of, I guess what would be normally called shotgun, I guess. Maybe I think Amorous was probably drove. Actually, do you have any animal handling at all, Amorous?
I have husbandry, yeah.
Okay, so you're any better than actually driving. I don't really have much of that at all. So yeah, I would probably be sort of keeping a watch as we go, and so I wouldn't have to necessarily focus as much on the animals and such.
Well, that particular grave marker is some rather potent witchcraft, or has a rather potent witchcraft about it.
Okay,
Question for you.
Hmm?
If I could interject real quick, because the Geet language is a runic alphabet, I speak Shadow Tongue, and my knowledge of Shadow lore, would you allow me a roll to see if I could pick out pieces of it? Because I am
just
kind of trained in some of this, and I do have a spiritual background, so to speak.
Go for it.
Come
I
on,
will-
8.
I will mention with that fact there was fairly potent witchcraft there.
Nice. Okay.
What do you got for us, Dave?
23. Are we using shadow lore or academics?
Well, you mentioned shadow lore, so I would assume
Okay, then it's a 30 total.
a 30 total. All right. You pick out a few words. You don't dare repeat them, and I will not tell them to you.
So, all right.
Can I get the gist?
Yes, you can, but I will not repeat them.
So I need to wing it. All right.
No, what I'm saying is if you say this out loud, you're going to force the entire party to make a life force test, and you're already the weakest one in the party, so you really want to do that?
No, I'm saying the gist of it, the sort of, if I could summarize it or
Is it
what it
like-
is.
Yes, but don't say it out loud is what I'm saying.
But is it a
Okay.
curse? Is it like a protection? Is it? I think that's sort of what he's getting at.
It's a trap.
Well,
I mean, do you only take the damage if done in the dark speech, or just if he translates it as well?
Get an idea of what it is. Like,
what I'm saying is if he utters it from his mouth,
I get it.
everyone has to make a save.
Right.
no, I'm
Right.
just
If
saying
he says
if
it
I
in
could
his head-
categorize it.
Dave, are you going to
Okay.
fucking say it out loud?
No.
No,
Then-
I get it. I get it now.
Then you
If-
understand.
So if I
You can
understand,
understand
it,
it.
then it hurts
And-
my. Then I'll
No,
take damage.
no.
Okay.
Okay, let me explain. If you pass me a note and I read it in my head and I don't say it, I can convey that information inside my head and comprehend it.
Mhm.
But if you passed me that note and I read it and I said it out loud, that's the curse.
Right.
I get you. Okay.
Without
so if
now,
I wrote,
now that I have completely fucked up the entire encounter for you,
I apologize. I wasn't trying to do that. I was dense. So at this point, then I can alert them.
Okay. So what you're saying is that's dangerous.
Yes,
Okay.
I can say that much, right?
Okay. I think we should. I
That's
think we
what I
should
was saying.
stop here.
Could I write the word something
Not
not
the same
use,
problem.
like passing the note?
it doesn't have a written language.
Okay. So let's stop before we go into the water. Do you think it affects the water?
Do I?
I don't know, Shaman. Do you think so?
I believe that it could affect the water. It depends on where we are.
Okay.
So we need to definitely be careful to stay on the path and be weary of the water.
All right.
Yeah,
Dave, make an awareness test for me.
Yeah, exploding. 31.
Okay. You notice that, say, if you were, and I'm not saying that you are, but you do notice that the way the light plays in the shimmer off of like the facets and the relief of the runes on this pillar, we'll say, the light kind of ripples through the cracks and the relief in relationship to you.
Kind of like it follows me.
Yes. Never mind the other two. You.
Would it be appropriate to pray at this site to Agiun? Shed some light on it.
I
think so.
I can't really answer that without giving away the surprise. I'm gonna say
see what happens.
Play your character. If you think that Tane would feel that he would be obligated to do so as a sun worshiper, so to speak, then I'm actually, as the narrator, as the overseer of the game, I'm not going to say yes or no.
I think he would.
I should not be able to.
So,
okay.
You see Tane just start humming, and he leans forward down on his mare's neck and just puts his head on her, and then he jerks up straight, and the horse just rears up and starts walking forward and starts doing this dance, and basically the forepaws are coming forward and just treading the earth like it's preparing for battle or something. And then it kind of leans forward and bends down as Tane slides off and begins flourishing and continuing the dance as his mare sort of skirts him. And as he's doing so, he's holding his hands out with his braid in his hands, and he's holding his hands out and looking to the sky, and he is chanting in Geet. And you hear the name of Agiun uttered quite prominently, and he continues to look to the sky as he's opening up his arms, and he's calling down sunlight to bless this patch of earth and to...
All right, how many spell points are you going to use? You
2 sounds good.
2? All right. Make me a sight test here.
Straight sight?
Yes, straight sight.
Okay. $22.
All right. You do actually with that bit of shamanic magic, you are in fact able to tear at least a small hole in the cloud cover, and you do see a shaft of sunlight come down, and where are you directing it?
I'm feeling it emanate from this, the thing that shall not be named, right? I'm feeling a lot of anger and hatred coming from that darkness.
Okay.
So that's where I'm.
What I'm hearing is you want the sunlight to actually hit the stone.
To bathe it and wash it in light.
Okay. All right.
And as the card, I would imagine as it parts, though, it initially starts and it almost looks like this image of a centaur woman, a very rough image of it. And then as the light sort of spreads out, it goes away. And as he stops with his ritual, he drops to his knees with his hands down, and he holds his head up and he just says, "Thank you," in Geek.
Make a defense test.
$26.
20. Ooh, okay. There is somewhere you can't in these short seconds that I'll actually describe for you, you can't pinpoint where the sound came from. It was just around you, as there seems to be the tearing up of earth, the grinding of stone, the howl of a tortured spirit of some kind, mortal, immortal, or otherwise, animal, vegetable, mineral, elemental, or otherwise. A scream emanates, and a stone, like a shard of this hinge here, actually it almost levitates up and shoots itself out, almost in retaliation to Titane's face. It's going to take his head off, but with that that shamanic alacrity, you were able to actually see this, not see it with your eyes, keep in mind, but see it spiritually, and the stone passes you. Some supernatural forces retaliating against you, and then another supernatural force is protecting you. But what you do in fact hear is, I like the slopping and the squishing of mud, and again the grinding of stone. Somewhere behind you, you feel the rumble of earth as one of these hinges falls over, and just off to your guys' left, you see that horror shamble itself out of the cemetery, half made of bone, half made of mud and earth, and these hinges. Can I get your reaction, gentlemen?
Stand in the sunlight. It's a pretty good area, right?
It's gone now.
Oh, I thought it would stay for a little while.
No.
15 for me. And also a nice hearty,
Right? So Frank gets a 15. What do we got, Mike? Really?
My.
You fucking crit. Way to be asshole. God damn it. Jesus. Fuck. All right. You want to play rough? We'll play rough.
I got a 15 as well.
Oh, really? Okay. Who's got the higher cunning?
I have a 6.
a 9.
Yeah.
Burns going first.
Yep. So, Amorous, from the driver's seat of the cart, we're just going to simply state that the plow horse that you have hitched to the cart, he loses his absolute shit. I mean, he's trying to get the fuck away, and he's, as you are taking your turn, threatening to basically topple this wagon, trying to get the fuck away. What do you want to do?
Can I use 100 to try to calm him down, or is that going to be more horsemanship?
This would be horsemanship at this point to calm him.
I ain't got that.
Oh shit! All right.
I mean, I have beast crap. I don't think that's going to help here either.
No, not in this situation. No.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to do? Is if you're not able to calm him, he's gonna flip this cart and probably try and tear himself out of his harness.
Yeah, I mean, no. The only thing I would see this, and I would assume I would see Tane do his little Neo reflexes moment. But as soon as the horse tries to bolt, I'm going to do my best to either calm the horse down or at least turn with the horse so I can have the horse go in the opposite direction so it can start the bolt without hurting itself. And if I have to do that untrained, I'll just have to do it untrained. So just the way it's going to go.
I actually don't think you can use horsemanship untrained. Hang on, give me a second here. I have actually not memorized my skill tables yet. Shame on the master of the game. Fuck that guy. You actually can't use it untrained. -4 penalty.
Okay, and what's that one go off of?
Spirit. Horsemanship is spirit. He's just a standard horse. So.
Okay, well, I exploded 3 times already, so.
Oh, well, then, I mean, he's got
24, 30, 35, 38.
Oh, wow. All right, well, you put the horse to sleep. How about that? Just take a nap. Nice horse, take a nap. How the fuck comical and pulpy that can fucking be, but all right.
Right, yeah.
All right, you calm him and the horse faints. How about that? There you go.
Yeah. So, oh shit. As I'm doing this, and I'm probably all sorts of freaking video games / cartoony about this, I'm going to look at Fern and be like, you might want to get your ass out there.
Get your ass out there.
I'll be along as soon as I can.
Mm-hmm. Well, if it happens to be my turn, I'm not sure if it is or not. So I'm not sure if it goes before we do or not.
No, it is in fact your turn.
Okay. In that case, he will Fern will step off of the cart and draw his falchion, and prepare for basically stand between his friend Amorous and the horse and this thing, and he will say to it in Yethite, "Get away from here, foul spirit."
Is that it?
Well, he's gonna basically ready himself for an attack if it charges at him. So.
Okay, you're gonna make ready. All right.
Yes, make ready.
That brings us to Tane here.
Okay, so Amorous got the plow horse handled.
Yeah, everything else is handled. We're on you now.
All right, and is my mare under control?
Seemingly she doesn't give a shit. Couldn't be fucking buggered.
And this thing is charging who? How far away from it is?
This is less than 30 feet away from you, and it's just shambling. I don't know how you get charging out of shambling, but all right.
Figurative, whatever.
And no, it's charging now. It's charging now.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Anyway.
So, Tane is feeling fairly pumped at the moment. The alacrity, if you will, of the moment, the ritual he just cast, he has been filled with Aegean's spirit. He feels blessed, and you see his eyes kind of squint, and he draws this new ebon blade and then his bronze blade. So he can dual wield 2 broadswords, right?
They're long weapons. They're a little heavy, but yeah, you should be able to do it.
And he runs in there and just goes to hack that fucker up.
All right.
I may regret this later, but at the moment I'm filled with the zeal of Agiun.
Get him. Get in there, get your lumps.
Just so you know, as soon as he starts running forward, Fern's going to go and charge after him.
On your turn, you can.
So the first one is a 27 to hit. That'd be the Ebon Blade, and then followed by the...
And keep in mind your penalties and bonuses. Make sure that you have those recorded correctly.
Right. The second one is a 19.
Yeah, both of those do in fact hit.
Sweet. All right. So now we need to do some damage. Let's see if it even does damage, right?
We're experimenting.
Yeah.
So.
So 11 points from the Ebon Blade.
All right.
And the Bronze Blade does 4 points of damage. So I would imagine that he slides in and just sort of sidesteps the thing and then just hacks both blades into the center sections and then just tries to draw through it. He doesn't think he's going to cut through it, but...
being as this thing is made of earth, bone, mud, and stone, quite literally, you notice that there's only so much effect that you actually get out of this, and your blades kind of get stuck in there as you tear them out. You do put a pair of deep gashes in there. However, one of which is obviously more severe than the other. The thing doesn't seem phased, possibly to your horror. And what it's going to try and do, it's going to attempt to retaliate here with one of its arms. It's going to come down on Tane for a 17.
That meets my defense.
It meets your defense. All right. Make a life force test.
Okay. What is that based off of? Spirit?
That is life force is your level plus it's 2d8 plus your level and spirit. So you're gonna have a +4 in there.
Yeah, so I got a 19 total.
Okay. You're able to fend off this attack, but when this thing touches you, you feel the sickness of the darkness upon you. But being as you're still kind of you're pumped out from this this recent divine intervention here, you're able to basically shove that influence aside emotionally or just logically. There is no power of the darkness here because I am here. But it got you, like it touched you, and there was just enough sickening you in there to you might start to think better of this situation. We go back to Amorous for his turn.
So once Amorous gets the horse contained and down and calm, he will see Tane attempt to slice through this thing. Seeing as how his blades got stuck on a slash, and he is assuming probably some hefty slashes with Tane's build and everything. Even in that couple of seconds of just reaction time, he's like, if I throw a dagger, I'm not getting it back. It's just not happening. So he's going to do what a bard does best, and he's going to bring his lute out.
Sorry.
He's going to cry while his teammates die, yeah. No, he's going to pull out his lute, and I don't know exactly how we want to work this, but he is actually going to pour music points into this and essentially try to expand on Tane's light ritual and try to do like the uplifting songs of the sun banishing the dark and good triumphing over evil to either strengthen his friends or weaken the enemy, whichever way it happens to go. I just don't know how that would necessarily work. Magic or music point and
it would be spell points for
whatnot. Well, spell points, music points, same thing for me.
How many spell points are you wanting to use? And you basically choose what you actually want to actually happen.
Okay. Well, it's one per target.
Mm-hmm.
So, am I able to hit all three and basically do both of those, or do I have to do one or the other? Asking the DM, since this isn't fully fleshed out yet.
I'd say choose one or the other at this point.
All right, I'm actually going. I'll actually see if I can actually weaken the creature.
Okay.
So would that still just be one, or is it more than one because of his size?
Technically, that is a monstrous creature. It's larger than an ogre, so this thing is damn near like forest giant sized. So I would sink a minimum of 2 spell points into it.
Okay.
It also has to make a obviously a spell defense save should it actually hit.
A 24 on a song check.
Well, yeah. That he cannot actually roll that high unless he explodes. So, yeah, that's gonna pass it. What we're gonna do?
So, essentially, I'm trying to see if I can. It's a long shot considering what this creature is, but essentially, trying to convey that whole "you're not going to win this. We are going to overpower you" type of, I guess, mentality.
Okay. All right, so subtract your spell points. That is Amorous' action. We go to Fern. Fernaleus is the next to act.
Let's say his as Tane had charged for before, and he had stopped to defend his comrades. He sees Tane run up there. He's actually going to charge behind him and also go for a swipe at this thing. Using his falchion. It's 2 attacks. The first one is going to be, it's going to be a 17.
All right.
The second one is going to be a 15.
You're actually not able to land any purchase with either of those. Okay. You can describe for us how those attacks fail, and make me a durability test. You're using the Tulwar, right?
Yes.
Okay. Make me a durability test. It's just D8 for us right now.
Okay, just D8.
Okay.
Yep. 7.
7. All right. Your Tulwar at this point will take 1 point of damage here. You actually do see it start to get chewed up by whatever this thing is. Describe for us your action, please.
So he charges in with this beautiful curved blade and goes to lay a slash across the front of this thing. And as his blade hits, it just the tough bits of gnarled roots and bone out on the front deflects his blade and causes it to turn. So he draws it across and comes back and apparently strikes a piece of stone and actually sends sparks off of the edge of his blade. And as it comes up, it actually has a noticeable chip in the edge.
Okay.
Fernley does not look happy.
No, of course, no. That's Yathite craftsmanship there that's being eaten away by whatever the hell this horrible thing is. That's not okay. Tane is the next to act.
All right, so it looks like he actually did some damage, but as he's bringing he brought his ebon blade up and used it to deflect the attack somewhat previously, and felt the darkness creeping in. He sees the glow still on the back of his hand, that of the sunlight, and it makes him think for a second, and he recalls the words and speaks sunlight in the Geet tongue, intending to use the power of sun on this creature. I'd like to, if possible, expend another. Am I capable of doing this?
You're going to need to sacrifice something for that ritual. And how many spell points are you actually? Do you have remaining after that?
Well, I have 6 remaining, so sacrifice something.
Yeah. Each of your rituals requires some kind of payment.
An actual life, though. Well, it's standing right in front of me. It's undeath, but
that doesn't count.
I'll just attack. That's fine. Okay. All right. Ebon attack is 16.
Okay.
For the Ebon attack. I think the bronze blade is going to miss too. So.
What's the second attack?
A 12.
Yeah, they both miss. Roll me a D8 for your bronze broadsword. Excuse me.
It didn't connect to anything.
Well, I know you just did not damage him.
Okay, so 8 on the dice.
Okay, and for the previous turn, it's just 1 D8. Roll for the previous attack.
Right, that was in the chat. You wanted it. So it's 12 for durability.
No, it's just a D8. You can't roll a 12 on an 8-sided die. Is what I'm saying.
Just a D8, no bonuses or modifiers.
Yeah, no bonuses there.
Okay, I got a 3.
Oh shit. Okay. A 3? Only a 3? God damn it. Okay. Oh shit. So, as you describe this attack for us, like you will notice actually the bronze of your 2 swords are actually the top quarter, like the last 5, 6, 8 inches of your broadsword actually will snap clean off in the thing as you connect the strike.
But I didn't hit on this round, you said.
You did not damage him.
Oh. He's just so big that
he's got damage suppressed to all hell. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So, shit. All right, that's Taser. We're gonna go back to this thing. All right. Whatever this thing is, a massive haunted earth, quite literally. It sees Tane as the largest threat, as he's the mystic or the magician of this party. So he is attempting, or it is attempting to go after him again with a whopping 13 on his attack.
No, he needs to hit 17 or higher.
Okay, yep. So you can describe for us how he misses, if you wish.
Well, all of a sudden, without even realizing it, the fluid movement of the attacks, he was coming in over the head, and the ebon blade just sort of caught excess wind. And the second one, he was expecting, because it felt like he caught with his bronze blade, and then he heard the clutch sound of metal snapping, the ting. And in doing so, he was already putting his hips into it. And as he was doing so, it made him over push on the swing. And so he ended up almost doubling over in half. And as doing so, the arm just totally just whiffs over the top of his head. And he feels the air sort of on the back of his neck as he gets up and just sort of looks down at the blade and just grunts and throws it to the ground as he goes to reach for his hand axe.
Amorous is the next to act. You do feel at this point a fetid, chilling, unholy wind emanating from this thing as well.
So we're going to limb and say that the music didn't affect it in any way, though?
If it did affect the, we're going to say the gravestone horror here, it is not showing it.
Okay. Seeing that, he is going to switch, and he is going to continue playing, but he's actually going to spend his last 3 magic points that he has at the moment on the 3 of us.
Okay.
And basically try to empower them with the light to drive out the darkness.
All right. I will give you guys each a +2 here. As you do that.
You want me to do another song check or no?
Yes, please. Oh yeah, I'm rolling for garbage tonight, so yeah.
26.
Yep. Don't even. Yep, you're fine. Fernaleus is the next to act. You also feel this supernaturally unholy cold emanating from this thing. The kind of wind that you would feel from an opened burrow.
Okay. I basically yell out to Tane, we need to retreat, and I'll cover you. And he'll basically sort of, because he saw Tane did his weapon break, he'll basically start backing up in a defensive stance. He's going to take one swipe at this thing, just sort of a real quick, see if he can make it, go for
a defensive stance is -2 to your attack, +2 to your defense.
Okay,
that's
fine.
He can't back up. Horse is down. Horse is down. I'm not backing her up anytime soon.
No, me and Tane need to back up. Horse is fine. We need to basically get out of its reach. The attack on it is at a -2. Let's see. 15, 21 +2, 21.
That is a defensive attack this round?
Yes.
Okay. And you did factor in your -2?
Yes.
Okay. I got an 11, Keith. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Roll damage, man.
Okay, hey, I actually did decently with the sword there. That's 11 points.
11 points here, right? Durability test for the Tulwar, please.
5.
God. All right. Shit. All right. That is another -2 there for your edge.
So it's now at 3.
If
Or
it drops to
-3.
0, it breaks or it becomes
Okay.
useless, really.
This can basically make it useless at this point. So I think it has 1 left.
Right? Yeah. Man.
So yeah. So yeah, he'll basically draw across this thing and lay into it a little bit deeper into what's, I guess, would be the upper thigh of the thing. There'll be earth and pieces of splintered bone will cascade out of this thing, but you definitely hear the grinding of metal upon very hard surfaces inside as he pulls the blade out. The edge looks like it's been chewed up, so it's almost a sawtooth at this point.
You guys are in fact damaging it. It simply can't feel and cannot convey pain. It does not have that capacity.
As far as we're concerned, we don't know.
Yeah, that's player knowledge. Keep in mind that your characters, this is pretty fucking terrifying.
Oh yeah, and with that is he'll be doing that, and so the one attack, and he'll be attempting to basically or get away from it, backing up from it, withdrawing, not running, just withdrawing.
We are advancing the other way.
Yeah,
we don't retreat.
Yes.
Tane, save us. Now, I before you continue, Dave, I have been assuming that you've dismounted and joined melee. You've not been attacking from the saddle, correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Actually,
okay,
when I did the sunlight ritual, I actually dismounted.
Okay, that's so I was actually following you there. I wanted to make sure that in my head where the combat is, because I really don't want this thing to chew up your horse. Because it can.
Do you offer a multiple opponent bonus to Fern and I?
No, there is no flanking bonus or penalty in this system. It's very off-grid.
So these legs, if you could call them that, does it have appendages that are sticking out, bones?
Much like the picture, yeah.
It's hard to discern a skeletal structure to it, though, right?
Yeah. Here, let me make that bigger for you. Yeah. How about that?
Okay. Yep. But bones break.
They do.
So
that's when crunching in there from when you're attacking is that.
I'd like to do try to hit the same spot with both blades.
Okay.
I'll take a negative if you want me to, but
no, you're good.
Okay.
The only negative you should be taking right now is -1 because of the 2 attacks. But you
+2.
Oh yeah, right. So yeah, never mind. Bardic inspiration.
So I got a 26 for the ebon attack. Actually, they're both ebon now because I pulled the ebon hand axe.
Attaboy. You don't need to make durability tests on these weapons now. At least against this thing.
28 on the 30 on the second one. So the hand axe hits a 30. I'm trying to hack at the same spot to see if I can just fell the tree.
Hey man, whatever works.
Right. Damage.
Damage for both, yeah. And you may describe that when you give me the numbers.
So it's 11 on the broadsword and then 10 on the hand axe. So So I bring them both. I'm gritting my teeth at this point because I'm still pissed and probably bit my tongue. And so you're starting to see blood trickle down the side of his. Not that he's frothing. He's just pissed.
He's a rabbit.
And he lands them both at the same time into this, and he hears crunch of old bones, and he embeds it in there, and he has to sit there and work it out, but he's able to retrieve it.
Okay. For the rest of you, you do hear a very satisfying, very thankfully, thank the gods, all of the gods, the new and the old, very resounding bone crunch. As this thing staggers a bit with this strike, it doesn't fall. It just kind of like gets tripped up a little bit. And we go back to its turn. All right, it's going to try and attempt to do what the undead equivalent of a reflex test is. Ha 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 ha. There's a joke there somewhere. And it barely passes. So it kind of hauls itself like somewhat back to its feet, and it's going to very wildly attack Tane here again.
It's all right. Embrace it. We're good.
Gods are on Tane's side.
Yeah. At least one of them is.
Hopefully it's Agian.
Hey, check chat, guys. Facebook chat.
Oh, I think he broke an arm. Does that mean that he snapped his what you might call his spine?
Why are you hitting yourself?
He swung so hard, his body just, you heard this loud snap, and he just topples in half.
Well, we would hope. But
Right.
the overseer of the game is a dick, and he's going to fall on Tane, is what he's going to do.
Understatement.
Yeah, right. Understatement.
Reflexes.
And that is going to be a whopping 28 for its.
Whoa.
Yep.
Real good.
Do it. I didn't know Tane was the tank of this party. That should have been obvious.
It's actually a 30. Because
really? Is it?
2.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, Legolas, you can stop now.
I was still basically my movements are very accentuated because I'm really driving home, and so my movements are very exaggerated. I guess that's the word.
You can describe for us how you pretty much dance out of this thing's way as it topples over.
So I was in Tane's mind. He's actually thinking that he accomplished or achieved what he had initially strove to do.
Mm-hmm.
So he's feeling a little cool at the moment because he thinks that he actually, like felling a tree, he felled this ugly ass undead giant because he thinks that he hacked the leg, and he was already preparing for what would happen if he hacked the leg out from underneath, and he was already kind of stepping widely away from it. And so this thing just went to swing at him, and basically you hear a cacophony of crunches as these bones are like old wood, and this old moan just as the thing it's almost like slow motion because it's so big, and he just is stepping back, and he's actually got his blades back like this as the thing just is like right in front of him, just like a hair's breadth away from him. Yep.
Nice.
And you notice that Tane is actually standing on. No, I'm kidding. I don't know.
No.
That sounds cool.
Tane has an erection. That's all you need to say.
Well, doesn't every man in battle?
Amorous is the next to act. As this big heaping fucking horrible thing falls into the mud. almost seemingly disappears into the mud because it blends in so damn well.
Right. How long does my bonuses remain? As long as I play, or how's that working?
I have half a mind to run it the way the old EverQuest does it. As long as you are playing, there are bonuses.
Okay.
Okay.
He will continue to play even as this thing is falling, but you will see him kind of hit like that fast high tension part as you see it start to like creak over, and then kind of like flourish for a second when Tane kind of gets out of the way real quick, and he'll go back to the bardic inspiration type of playing. Before this thing fell, Ambrose would have actually looked up at where the skull should be.
Yep.
Was there anything different about it? Or is it just a normal skull sitting in there and just ambling about?
The picture is just a human skull, but this one has a, we'll say it's got a horse's skull up there. It's like half
Really?
burned. Yeah.
Piss off Tane some more, why don't you?
Oh yeah. We're just shitting on Dave this whole encounter. That's fine.
I know it'd be a long shot, but is there any way to know what is driving this thing? Is there any like runic markings?
Not on its person, but you do know that there is, according to Fernelius, a potent witchcraft about this thing. Unfortunately, Fernelius is not a magician. Some people.
Keeping an eye on this thing, Ambrose will continue to play.
Okay.
Because he gets that intuition in the back of his skull of this thing's going to pick itself back up soon. Other than that, if there's nothing Saul on its way down to help permanently get rid of it, the only thing the bard can do is play and hope his teammates don't die.
Right. Fernelius is the next to act.
So, seeing the edge and actually with on horror at the edge of his blade, he is going to do something he has never done before in battle. He is going to toss aside his blade and draw this broadsword that he picked up from the armory specifically for this purpose. And he is going to make a hack at what he thinks might be the head area of this thing.
Go for the horse's head. You're gonna have to jump for it. Jump and reach.
Okay.
Because it's kind of up there.
All right, that's going to be a total of a 15.
Oh shit!
So sorry, 17.
Okay.
Because of the +2.
Oh, for Christ's sake! All right. Well,
It moves his head out of it, right?
it's trying to, as you're attacking, it's trying to like get. It's kind of like morphing with the mud, and it's reforming.
Okay.
And so when you go to attack, it's like, here's the goddamn head here, and you're like, thunk into the mud. You're like, oh no.
Okay. We can see this thing basically, instead of actually starting to get up, it just sort of flows around and flows up in the
itself.
head. Yeah.
Uncanny Valley style.
I love that. Okay. Yeah, and Fernelius is going to look up at that and go, ooh.
Oh, shit.
And actually take a couple of steps back because of it.
Make me a... Actually, you know what? I need life force tests from everybody. This is a pretty unsettling sight to actually look upon, as it's Uncanny Valley.
21.
21? Oh, yeah. If you break a 16, actually not a 16, excuse me, an 18. This is potent darkness here.
25.
25. All right.
I got a 19.
Oh, barely. So yeah, you guys are troopers. You're keeping it together. No Call of Cthulhu sanity loss here. Tane, how you feeling, buddy? You are the next to act.
Well, he's still kind of pissed because the thing stole his blade. That was a gift from his uncle, and he feels very bitter about that. But he is going to try to keep this thing from reforming, and he's going to hack at it again.
You won't need to attack. It can't attack this right now because it's reforming. So just roll damage.
Okay.
It can't. It has no ability to defend itself as it's just. Yeah.
So the broadsword did 19 points of damage.
Oh shit! Yeah, damage explodes, man.
Yes, it does.
Is the +2 just on attack rolls or on damage rolls as well?
It's attack rolls.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
And then a total of 5 for my ebon axe. That's still pretty good.
And sorry, what was the axe now? Say one.
Axe was 5 points.
Okay.
Was 19 for the broadsword, and then 5 for the.
Okay. I got the first one. I did not catch the second one here. That blow with the broadsword was actually quite terrific, and you split a rather huge gash into. You can tell us where, actually.
Well, I'm imagining that this thing has probably got its. If you could guess, it's a chest of some sort, based on the structure, and as it's roiling, as it seems like it's coming back to life, or rebuilding itself rather, he just brings it down and he's almost just like hacking back and forth on it, taking the opportunity. So he's just chewing up the remnants of what this thing once was.
Kicking up mud, stone.
Yeah, and trying to avoid the splatter of mud and grossness.
Awesome. Now, on its turn, it is going to attempt to retaliate as the horse's head just comes out of the mud, as terrifying as it possibly can. It's going to go after Tane, and oh my god. Oh my. Okay.
Another one.
This is gonna hurt. This might hurt. There you go. Hey Tane. Type out your vitality in the. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not fudging this. It's going to crit on you. So it's going to bring one of its big muddy fist claw bone thing upon you. Roll me a D8 on the crit table here and tell me what you got.
Is there any chance I can do a reflex on it?
Not on crits.
3.
A 3? Oh, all right. We can actually work with this. Number 3 on the critical hit table is horribly disfigured, a grotesque wound to the face or other organ and or body part. You can actually choose for us where he hits you, and then I will roll damage.
So I would imagine that as it's reforming still, it brings over one of its forearms but it's just two jutting shards at this point. They're probably full-on thigh bones, but from a distance it looks like arms. And it actually catches Tane on the underside of the helmet, and in the process lifts it up, but he's gouges him behind the ear, and just, you see the skin. Fern probably sees the skin begin to just roll up as the scalp begins to peel off with it, and the helm just goes flying off.
Oh, that's grim. Oh my God. Okay.
I'm gonna have a bald spot
Oh, you're gonna have more than a bald spot.
if I live.
Like I said, you have a lot more than that.
Oh my God. Oh. All right, make sure I actually did this correctly here for you. So I don't want to jack you at anything. That is 18 points of vitality damage straight to your vitality. Is that the last we see of Halvmane, or he's a little bit sturdier than that, I think?
Yeah, actually, he feels the warmth and the wet just sort of explode on the back of his head. And this excruciating pain, because it's instant. You feel the muck that's intertwined in the bone.
Yep.
And it's almost enough to buckle his legs, as you do see them waver a little bit. And you almost see, for a second, Fern almost sees, and Amherst from a distance, you almost see him drop his axe. And he actually staggers and presses his broadsword into the ground. And you see him breathing for a second as he looks up at the thing. And there's blood beginning to just cascade because he was leaned over. It's just spreading down his face. And even though his eyes are kind of wavering, he's just looking at him still with fire in his eyes, like he's got 2 points left.
Okay. You are in a bloodied state. You are now under 6 vitality. Let's review the bleeding rules here quick, because this is gonna suck. I told you this might hurt. Bleeding rules. Grievous bleeding wounds. You will lose 1 point of vitality for every 4 rounds starting this round. So we have to go through all 4 of you 4 times, twice, for Tane to bleed to death. That's how this is going to work. Unless someone can stabilize him quickly. You are, like I said, you are disfigured at this point. So if you survive, make note of that. I'll talk to you about that after the session. And because this thing is made of what it is, I need a conditioning test from Tane, because the wound is in fact filthy and infected.
$17.
Okay. And because this thing touched you, I need a life force test as well.
Triple threat.
Yeah.
Worst part is, DM, we just talked about in text about someone in the party getting critted too.
Yeah,
You
that's,
need to cut that shit out. Is what it is. I got an 18 for a life force test.
Okay, cool. God, fucking fantastic. Because you're in excruciating pain, is it plausible that Tane either muscles through the pain and he stays conscious, or does he kiss the dirt? I'm gonna leave that judgment up to you.
Tane is he's having visions at the moment and memories. So he is not fighting a forest giant anymore, but he's trying to fight through the pain.
Okay, make me a
So
conditioning
he's
test.
staggering, but he is still.
If you break a 12, you're still gonna feel it. So you could choose to fail and just sleep, so your character won't be in pain anymore.
I like the idea of fighting through it.
Oh, good.
That's
good.
15.
All right, you're totally not a tough guy at all, and Tane muscles through it. Fucking champion. That's this thing's turn. Amorous. Help.
Fuck.
Hey, can you get my helmet over there? And then
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. No, what does it take to try to do a quote unquote stabilized check?
That requires
Is that need an apothecary, or that can be done with something else?
That requires an already prepped poultice for apothecary, and you can only prep one per day. Unfortunately, we're playing in a primitive setting where medicine has to be prepared, and it takes.
Right. So, yeah, yeah, I guess I'm just going to throw a dagger, and seeing as how logically his brain is kind of saying, the skull has to be a focal point somehow, he is going to try to launch a dagger at the skull.
Is that going to be a called shot?
Yeah, I will called shot that. What's that going to do?
That's a -4. That's all it is. Just a -4.
So we are doing D&D rules for called shots, basically. Then
is it also -4 in D20? Huh.
Well,
nice.
Old school D&D. The new one is
okay.
Well,
yeah.
Pathfinder later on technically got rid of called shots. It's not even a thing anymore.
Oh.
Old school D&D. Well, it's a optional rule set now.
All right.
But old school D&D. It was -4 for doing a called shot.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. Does the bonus from my music end immediately after I stop playing, or does it linger for a round and I get it?
I give you a round. We'll say it lasts for a round, and you get it for this round. So yes, you get a +4. Plus yes, a +2 or +2. Excuse me.
+2. Yeah.
You could have pulled an Eddie Izzard and be like, no, you said 4. You said 4. You have to take it. Anyway, excuse me. Eddie Izzard reference.
23, 28.
Oh, for fuck's sake, dude, really?
31.
I rolled a fucking 11. Stop exploding your dice. Yeah, roll damage.
No, because I needed that freaking +1 on my physique during the level up.
Right. Yeah, roll damage and please explode damage. Please.
Oh, let's hope I do. So daggers are just an extra, or just 1d8, correct? I don't use these weapons
is
enough.
a standard weapon. Oh, yes, 1d8 plus your physique modifier. Which
I don't have any, but I get +2 from it being Evan, so.
Yes, that's +2 damage. Yep.
Well, I exploded once.
Oh, yeah.
So, 14.
14 damage total. All right.
Yeah. Do I get a dispatch on top of that, by the way?
You do get dispatch.
Because that was 20 above it.
3, 6, 9, 12, 18. So yeah, come on, dispatch caps at +5 damage anyway. So.
Just because of this guy.
Yeah,
So I'd actually go make it a 19 for damage.
19 points of fucking damage. So
as an ebon dagger flies from the sheath on my arm and just embeds itself in this horse skull.
I will tell you, half of that horse's skull is just going to crack and then fall away. You may describe the rest.
So, yeah. Well, actually, that works out because essentially he was going to aim literally for like right between the eyes, like that plate point. So as he flings this dagger, he will watch it actually connect with literally the center point of the skull, probably embed itself almost up to the hilt.
It's going to partway disappear into the mud.
Okay.
With that kind of force, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming it's not a through and through, though. Like, the dagger's not going to come flying out the other end.
Yeah, no. It's thick mud and bone and rock.
Yeah.
It's going to stick in there and stay.
Yeah. That's fine. It just means he gets to pull it out later. He will watch his dagger. Yeah, he'll just watch his dagger just embed completely and watch kind of with a small smirk, and you see part of that skull just fall off and away from Tane.
All right. Fernaleus. Help.
All right. He looks over at Tane as he falls, looks up at this thing. His eyes go red, his fangs pop out, and he just attacks. First attack. Sending a picture.
Attaboy. Oh, did you crit?
Yeah. Let me flip it.
Yes.
That and that. Think chat there, my friend.
Yeah. Look at this guy over here with his mismatching dice. I'm gonna bust his balls for a little bit.
The next one is going to be a grand total of 14. So, but the first was a crit. So.
Oh, okay. So defense test on the second one. You actually do not connect on the second one. But roll damage. Being as this thing.
Did you do your +2?
Oh, no, I did not.
Oh, it's +2 to attack. Then yes, you beat him by 1.
Oh, okay. So 12 plus 5.
Remember your bonuses. Arr.
Okay, so the first one, the crit.
All right.
I think I saw that sheet somewhere too, Rafe.
Is 17.
The everything sheet we had.
Yes.
Now with a crit, it's just straight damage, and then we roll on the chart, right?
I have half a mind to say you cannot crit the undead. But so what I'm going to do in a pinch, because I will look at this later, just roll double damage.
Okay.
Whatever you're doing, because you're going to hit him hard enough. Okay, simple.
So, all right. So just roll, then double the damage, and then add the bonuses, right?
Roll, double it, add physique. Done.
Okay. All right, so that's 12 because I exploded once. That's 24.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Nice.
Then physique is 3, and then 2 for the Eben, right? That's 5.
Oh, yes, that's 5.
So-
and obviously, and
24, 6, 29.
dispatch caps at 5.
So it's 34 on the crit.
You want to know how much vitality I had left?
No, I want to roll again.
2.
I want to roll for second attack, and then tell me how badly I slashed it in half.
Yeah, you don't need to. You don't need
Okay.
to. It has
So-
8 vitality left.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
Overkill.
You're putting
So
it well into the negatives.
So basically, what Fernlaeus does is he gets the eyes go red, the fangs pop out as this thing leans forward for whatever reason, reaction, I don't know, maybe to possibly catch its half of its skull that's fallen off or whatever. Fernlaeus just leaps at this thing, blade out, plunges it in the thing's chest, and with his weight pulls down and actually opens it up like using a zipper.
Okay.
Pouring out mud, muck, bone, whatever happens to be inside as this thing basically just dissolves around him, leaving him standing about knee deep in a pile of muck. And then he hits it again. Because
No, you don't need to hit it again. You're good.
no,
You're good.
I'd just say he will, but then he'll sort of, realize it's dead. So,
You come down off of the adrenaline high. You're like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
But before that happens,
Mhm.
this thing has death throws. Everybody make a defense test.
all right.
What's the range on that? Because I'm still back essentially over at the wagon.
You're about 35 feet away, so we'll see.
I mean, I still can if you want to. Yeah.
13?
Yeah, roll for it. Actually, you know what? Mike, roll a reflexes test. Just you. Dave.
Is this evasion?
Well, your evasion goes into it.
Okay.
Since you're far enough away, you're probably not going to do any damage, if any at all.
17. $34.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Really? Come on! Just
I have 10 ranks in reflexes. Okay.
You know what? Keith, I'm gonna start banning Dawn Fairfolk. They are a powerful race. You can make deadly as shit. Thieves, knife men, archers.
I have 8 ranks in reflexes, just so you know. So.
You guys are, but you're close and you're too close. You guys are dicks. Just stop.
I said 13 on my defense test.
That's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. Okay.
Luckily, I have suppress.
No, well, we hope enough. Before we do that, in like the chaos of all of this, we haven't gotten back to Tane yet. Tane is you're biting your lip and you're muscling through the excruciating pain, and that's admirable on a plane of existence that is not this. And you feel like you're hallucinating because you are so close to death. You're starting to see the gray tattered cloak, and you see the Grey Lord stand just within your peripheral. What do you wish to do in this world of pain, in these short moments?
So at this point, he's still kind of leaning forward on us, and he's staggering, and he quickly tries to stand up, and he flicks his head back in the process, and his ponytail goes whack, but even more loudly is the slap of skin as it unfurls and slaps the back of his neck. And that's when you see that the differentiation in colors between the blood, there's actually some white from skull showing. And he stands back and he says, his eyes are burning because he's got blood pouring into him from when he had leaned forward, and he just looks over to his left. Not today. And he just sort of says, the poultices, and he starts staggering in sort of a haphazard way, and he thinks he's walking towards his mare.
If you try and move, you will pass out.
Well, he is trying to move, and he
okay. All right.
In the process, what he actually does is when he went to start walking, and he does that whole spin around thing because he corrects himself, but he overcorrects and ends up falling face first, pointing towards his mare. And he just falls face first into the dirt as the blood starts trickling down his neck and just into his beautiful golden tunic.
Okay. Being as Fernaleus is actually the closest here, out of the corner of your eye, you see an apparition. You can't identify it, but there's an apparition standing between Tane, who, for whatever fucking reason, this lunatic tried standing up, turning around, overcorrected, and then just faceplant into the mud with this wet sucking slurp sound as this undead haunted earth erupts, and it actually will throw. Oh my god. All right. It'll throw 15 points of vitality damage with earth, stone, bone shards in all directions. The shrapnel is too dispersed by the time it gets to Amris's range, so really what happens is you kind of get pelted with a bunch of mud and it's uncomfortable, but harmless to you. Weighing that against Fernaleus's damage suppress, that's you basically jumped on a grenade, my friend.
Yep. He winds up after the damage suppressed with the breastplate and the helm and all that. He takes 10 of it, which is still a good chunk. That would probably I would assume probably knock him prone.
I would be shocked if it didn't.
So yeah, he goes flying back. This rock and bone and whatever splattering against this armor and off of the helm, and he hits the ground next to where Tane's laying. And
one of the last things that you see before you pass out is a fluttering gray cloak that has seen better days.
Okay. May I roll a conditioning test to stay awake before passing out?
You may.
Okay. I'm pretty good at conditions. 9 plus. Where's my conditioning at? Conditioning. I have this thing listed somewhere. Conditioning. It's gonna be a 16.
All right. You can muscle through it.
Okay, yeah, so he'll I'm sure his head is still ringing, but yeah, his basically that rage he was feeling keeps him from completely going off into the the darkness as he literally screams the sky. And
Also, life force test because you're still awake.
it's life force test. That's a little better. 2 plus, that is spirit 24.
All right.
So, yeah.
Combat has ended, gentlemen. Congratulations.
Okay. As he struggles, he's going to go over and he's literally going to release his sword and his shield, get up, go over and pick Tane up and stagger towards Amorous.
How many points of vitality do you have left?
10.
You have 10 left. You have
Yes.
20 total.
Yes.
Okay. If you move him, you are going to damage him.
Okay. First off, would I know that?
Well,
That's a good question. I'll make a roll to see if I would figure
that's
that one
academics, by the way.
out. Okay.
Well,
Then I
wait.
can do pretty decently.
Well, actually, that's technically medical knowledge. So no, that's actually apothecary. Do you have grades in apothecary?
I do not have grades in apothecary.
You do not.
I do not.
Well, then you don't know whether or not if you move him, you will kill him.
All right. I said his instinct is to go and pick him up. But I will, for the purposes of this, he'll stop and look at him.
And I think that you would actually realize the bulk of Tane now with breastplate and have all the weight in front of you.
Ferdinand is stronger than you think, but he'll stop for a
We're
moment.
also straying into metagame territory here.
No, well, okay, yeah. So it's literally he goes to pick him up. Can I get a cunning check?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this a straight
Yeah, straight cunning.
Just
basically, is it the idea
logic?
is logic? Is it a good idea to move him? That's a 12.
Odd or even, Keith?
Odd.
Odd. Ooh. You can't tell. The logic that's seeping in is his armor seems to be keeping him together, but that gash on the back of his head where you see some of his spine and most of the back of his neck, back of his skull, is really unsettling.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's going to
very conflicted.
That's going to shock him as he leans over. He's coming off this adrenaline high. And he looks at that viscera, that skull and that blood, and he'll stop because his eyes fixate on that blood.
Oh,
and
fuck.
that smell. And he stops.
He's got 4 rounds left.
It's the whole idea of he's frozen for a moment and he yells, "Thorn!" It's all he can say. Because his eyes are red, his fangs are out, and he's just sitting there staring at his friend because he's
I would imagine it comes out kind of feral too, kind of like a growl.
Thorn!
Well, luckily, Thorn was in the process of getting out anyway after getting showered with this mud.
Yep.
Seeing Fern kind of just stand there for a second actually spurs Thorn quicker because he's kind of like, oh shit. Because I'm guessing from his vantage point, Thorn couldn't really see the extent of the injuries even as Tane fell.
Well, now that he's fallen on his face, and you can see like some of the skin like folded back over, and you can, yeah, it's not a pretty picture, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, personal empath that just
Well, and to top it off, it's probably his ear, his right ear where the blow came in. It probably tore his ear. Probably the ear's probably going to heal, but that's nothing compared to the rest of the gash. But the ear is
ear
probably
flapping
looking
in
gross.
the wind, or is
The
it like?
ears, I would imagine the ear's going to heal because it wasn't part of it. But right now it's torn, and he looks like somebody who's gauged their ears way too far, and it just looks like spaghetti. It's just, it's hard to tell with all the blood and the mess.
All right. Okay. I'm sorry, Mike. This is really touchy-feely and graphic for you.
No. Like, I'm actually fine with it. It's just being an empath. My brain is actually making my head feel that right now.
Oh.
Like, legitly.
At least trying to piece together what that might be like.
Okay. No. Thorn and run over to where
everything he can to fix this.
Right.
He's going to stop the pain.
Thorn's going to run over to Fern and Tane and see what the hell is going on.
With the
Unfortunately, Thorn has no apothecary either.
Oh my God, no!
Well, I was actually going to pick it up from Tane, but you said it had to be done by an actual like specialist in a town. We couldn't just pick it up from him.
Question for you though. They would know that I have 2 poultices in my saddle or in my bag on the side of my horse.
Well, jump narrative.
Without apothecary, is one capable of just putting the poultice on at least?
I know there's a way to do it, and what I will allow in this situation is, because the poultice is already prepared, prepared, whatever. If you, I'll let you use it untrained this once.
And then we can train you on the road after this, right?
If you survive.
Yeah. Well, I'm surviving.
Oh, because I thought we couldn't learn apothecary
so.
on the road. That's why I didn't get into it. Like, I could swear that's one of the things you said we couldn't learn on the road because of how extensive the training was. That's one reason why I didn't
the basics of just about anything, but
I probably would have popped a rank into it considering he was healing my arm, and I was learning from that. But anyway, that's not here or there.
Right. Yeah.
Does Tane have linen and stuff on him?
No, because he literally has all his gear on his mare.
Okay, I'm going to find the poultice.
Short way by.
Right.
By, yeah.
I'm going to pull the poultices. I'm going to look at Fern, and I'm going to say, find wrappings. We need to apply pressure and somehow keep this piece together. Can't have it just flapping in the wind.
Okay.
And like, if need be, Thorn will actually like look up at Fern, like do the whole like.
Yeah.
Come on.
It literally takes that. You have that like snap your fingers in front of his face because he's staring, and you'll notice when you get there, do that. The staring he's looking at isn't in horror. It looks more like he sees something that's good to eat.
He is shell-shocked and bloodlust.
Test from Fernelius, by the way.
I actually just rolled that.
Did you? Fantastic.
I just did it. So that's based off of sight or spirit?
Sight, self-control.
Self-control. I have self-control. Hold on.
Good.
And Tane was lost to the party because Fernelius failed his resistance roll.
It's
Fern dives down and starts eating him.
It's a 17. Self-control roll of 17.
All right.
So,
It takes you some doing
A second.
to
okay.
get.
Okay.
No, this friends are friends, not food.
He reaches down with his broadsword and cuts a spot on the bottom of his robe and rips the lower hem of his robe off.
Okay, what does apothecary go off of? Spirit?
Spirit, yep. -4 now. Shit.
After the negative,
Ah!
Bend of fate.
28.
Oh,
Really?
It exploded 3 times.
the dice.
Beautiful.
The gods of RNG wish Tane to live.
Actually,
Which-
the Grey Lord's
honestly-
hand has been on our dice.
Well, actually, the thing is, like, as I'm doing this, I actually would be muttering this thing to the Grey Lord. Said, "You said we weren't supposed to die yet. We weren't supposed to die yet."
He's actually standing there over you three.
Hi, Kale.
Morning.
As he's like putting this poultice on and like waiting for Fern. Like, come on, Fern.
I said, Fern hands him the hem of his robe, and then he is going to do something very undignified. He's going to turn around and he is going to throw up right there.
Right in the mud.
Do it right in the horse skull, even.
But basically, the idea is he came back to his senses and realized that he was staring at his friend, thinking dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So it turned his stomach. So boom.
The Grey Lord will actually he will linger as an apparition there, just long enough to make sure that Tane is on this in the realm of the living, but he's in the lands of Morpheus. Just long
Big side of death's door.
Yeah, exactly. And then he just vanishes.
I'd tell Barrow to smack him when I get a chance.
Mm.
Like half in jest, like that whole Thorn sarcasm, of course.
They all have it.
Does Fern turn back after he throws up, or does he kind of stay facing away?
He stays facing away for now. His whole thing is he occasionally glances over his shoulder to watch you bandage, and once you have him bandaged up, he'll then turn back around.
But the thing is, I kind of need Fern's help in holding his head so I can bandage.
You just need his hand so he can still look away.
Because I basically need to wrap it around his head.
Hey, asshole!
Without him falling into the mud. Yeah.
With what you can tell is a supreme effort of will, he turns around and holds his head up and looks everywhere but at the head. So
I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it.
But that smell, though, Keith.
No, it's self-control. By the way, was an 18 that time.
Oh well, you're getting a little better.
A little better, yeah.
So, in these quiet moments, I am going to actually call for Tane's soliloquy somewhere in the lands of Morpheus. Morpheus being the deity that presides over the dreamscape.
Tane is
Where is he?
Tane is in the boughs of a tree, and he is huddled within the roots, and he has his broadsword spread across his knees, and he's shivering, and all he can think about is that he feels as though his bones are ice. And on the one hand, he's curious how he got here. He doesn't recall. He seems to have recollection of being sent on some sort of quest by his uncle, but he can't seem to piece together what those words were. It's all muddled at this point. He has this thread of thought that just stops and drops, and it just sort of becomes another thought. But in between that, his mind he's going from icy, burning numbness to now this excruciating pain on the back of his neck. But he can't seem to raise his arms. He feels like no matter what he does, he keeps trying to reach up, and the only thing he can attribute it to is that he's so cold. And as he looks across out into the bow, the little bit that he can do, he lifts his head barely and just sort of meekly looks across this blowing plain, and all you can see is snow flying off the drifts because it's howling and such. But he also sees these swirling clouds of darkness around him. And in those clouds of darkness, he knows there is something there, some things lurking. And he knows that they are just waiting for him to expire. But he will not give in. He can taste the blood on his lip still. And he feels his tongue. And all he can think is, the sunlight will come. Agiun will bring me the sun. And that's what he's continuing to say to himself. And that's the thread of thought that he has to come back to, is he's chanting it. Agiun will bring me the sun. In other words, bring me the warmth, the life, as the pain just seems to overwhelm him, and that's where he just kind of fades off chanting that.
Somewhere in your dreamscape, you find an image of what looks like a wheat field, golden wheat field that's kind of like moving in the wind. And there is a centaur woman out there, not wearing much of any sort of clothes, as centaurs generally do not wear clothes. But she's like sitting on a rock, kind of. It's like a flat rock, but obviously her horse body is, the legs are underneath her. And she looks like she's reading something, and the ambient light here just seems like a perpetual state of dawn, like 9 o'clock in the morning. The sun is always at that angle. You can't move, you can't think, you can't feel. You just see this image, and this centaur woman looks up at you, and she smiles. And then you know no more. We go to Amorous in these moments as the stage lights come up to illuminate him.
So basically at this point, Amorous applied the poultice best he can for an amateur with no skill whatsoever in this. He would have actually taken the couple of seconds to get out one of his water skins and try best he could to clear out at least some of the dirt and mud without flooding the wound. Because even as amateur as he is, he knows that that's not good. You don't want to do that. But he will try to get as much of it cleaned up as he can while he has Fern hold the head, and he will wrap the bandages around. I'm assuming due to the location of the wound, this is probably going to cover his eyes and his forehead with the bandages and linen, though. if I had to take a wild guess.
Most likely. At least one of the eyes. You might.
Okay.
My head looks
Amrit,
like a mummy.
right. Amrit
It's
will try
mummy
his best.
mummy cosplay. Yep.
Right. Amrit will try his best not to cover both eyes simply because he knows if he was in this location and he suddenly woke back up, if he gets to wake back up blind on top of everything else, probably not going to end very well. Let's be honest here. So he will try to keep one eye uncovered. And after he gets Kane all bandaged up best he could, he is going to look at Fern and say, we need to hopefully carefully carry him to the cart. I just don't know how. Also at this point, at least at the moment, he's not even thinking about his last dagger still stuck in the damn thing.
Attaboy. As the light fades from that scene, we come upon a very conflicted Fernaleus. The stage lights come up to illuminate a filthy Dampier. What do we see?
We see into his mind this refrain over and over again. Tane is not food. Tane is not food. Tane is not food. It's the image in his mind is he has his eyes closed tightly. Behind those lids, the eyes are gleaming scarlet. He is biting down on his own lip, drawing blood because his fangs will not retract. And he is, with a supreme will, he is damping down this instinct to eat because he's just killed something. And the deep-seated instinct is he killed it, so now he can eat it, right? But Tane is not what he killed. And he is both horrified by this feeling that he is feeling, and deep down, there's something inside of him that's basically almost cheering it on. The darkness deep in his soul, that little bit of shadow that he has, seems to be pushing towards him. Go ahead. He's going to die anyway. And he's fighting against that as much as he possibly can. And when Amaris says we have to get him to the cart, he gingerly lays the head down and goes over to the side, puts his arms underneath Tane's legs and behind his shoulder. And he'll begin to lift. And he has a physique of 10, so he's not a weak fit person at all. I can make a roll if you want, or if we can if you want to just.
Nah, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay.
Go for it.
And he does lift him. And with his slight frame, it seems odd that he's able to do this, but it harkens back to those corded muscles you guys have seen when he has had his robes off. And he carries Tane not effortlessly. There is definitely effort there. And he very gently places him in the back of the cart. He takes his robe off and actually covers Tane with it. And he seems to be trying to make him comfortable, but you can definitely hear that refrain. He's speaking actually he's not speaking in the Ebon tongue that he normally speaks. He's actually speaking in Shadow Phalaz. But you hear the term Tane. Tane is not food. Tane is not food. And he walks to the side. And he is literally stuck in this moment. As soon as he gets away from Tane, he stops for a moment, grips himself, holds it, actually hugs his arms to his body. And then he looks over at Thorn and says, I'll get his helmet. And he goes over and walks and picks up the gear scattered across the field there. The helmet with probably a bit of hair still stuck inside of it, covered in blood on the inside. He picks up, looks at it, shakes himself, goes over, grabs his sword, grabs his shield, and stops for a moment, sheaths the sword, picks up Tane's fallen weapons and puts them on the back of the shield. And lastly, he grabs his beautiful curved bronze sword that has been chewed up so much, puts that on top, lifts the shield and carries it over to the cart and places all that in the back. He says, "We have to find a healer somewhere."
Fernaleus has a moment where he feels like he's being watched. You turn to look away. You see a nude woman, covered and caked with fresh blood and a crown made of bone. And she smiles a wicked, syrupy, sweet smile. That smile comes from a place of love, maybe eroticism, maybe endearment, but for all of the worst reasons a mortal could imagine. And she whispers to you from just, she's standing like maybe like 10 some odd feet away, but you hear her voice in your ear. You could drench the world in blood. And you should. She smiles at you.
Fern looks her dead in the eye and says, "But not his."
She holds that smile, but you stare at each other. You blink and she's gone. Like it became so uncomfortable that you had to either blink or look away, and she was no longer there. And that is where we will close the session for tonight. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will be back next week. Good night, everybody.